Howdy, it's the Red, White, and Blue Jew, aka Jake Donnelly, and this is today's Kvetch. Jewish grit, American truth, and no apologies. So yesterday, the United Kingdom, Canada, and France all decided to put their big boy pants on.
I got big boy pants on!
And said to the world that, you know what, Israel, if you don't stop your war against those just pesky genocidal terrorists who are at your southern border, we're not going to apply just pressure on you. We're going to apply sanctions upon you.
This is how you conduct yourself in a democracy?
Now, disregarding the fact that British, Canadian, and French people were murdered on October 7th, I don't recall a single British, Canadian, or French soldier actually going over to Israel and helping Israel at all in avenging the murder of their own countrymen.
Who are these fucking guys?
But now, after doing nothing,
Not a damn thing.
absolutely nothing, you guys, the French of all people, think that you can dictate how Israel is waging its war of defense against an annihilationist enemy? Where do you get off saying, Israel, you know what, we don't like the way that you're conducting this war? At least Israel is defending its citizens, unlike you three.
Not a damn thing.
So now you guys think that isolating Israel is going to have an effect on what happens in this war? Let's think about that for a second, shall we?
No, don't like that.
Newsflash, fucking nobody ever in the history of the world has put a foot down, a boot down in Israel to help Israel fight its wars. Not a French soldier, not an American soldier, not a British soldier, not a Canadian soldier, not a German soldier. Nobody ever in the history of fucking Israel has an actual foreign army put its boots on the ground to help Israel.
That literally is the most moving thing I've ever heard.
Another way to say that is all boots that have ever been on the ground in Israel to help Israel have been Israeli boots.
Jews! Jews! Jews!
Since its inception, the only people, the only soldiers that have helped Israel win its wars on the ground have been Israeli soldiers. And if it's going to have to do it again, guess what? That doesn't scare Israelis because that's the status quo. That's what it's been from the very beginning. If you're an Israeli, all the way back to the Israeli War for Independence. And with that being said, let's take a look at that because it's the perfect microcosm for what we're talking about and what Israelis might have to deal with in the immediate future.
אנו מכריזים בזאת על הקמת מדינה יהודית בארץ ישראל.
In history, you usually can't argue the counterfactual. But here's the dirty secret about the Israeli War for Independence in 1947 and 1948. We have the factual and the counterfactual. Because the counterfactual is, what if the Arabs just accepted the 1947 partition plan? What if they just accepted that? Somebody like me would say, well, nobody would come and help the Israelis out. Now, why would I say that? That's because we have the factual. When 6 armies invaded Israel just 3 years after the Holocaust, in other words, to try and finish off what Hitler started in 1933 and couldn't do himself, the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem, Hajj al-Hamin Husseini, and the rest of the Arab armies, they tried to finish the job that Hitler started. And you know what happened? Not a single country came to help the Jews and the Israelis. That's right, 0. Nobody.
Not a damn thing.
So you have the factual of nobody came to help the Jews and the counterfactual of nobody would come and help the Jews.
No one's coming. No one.
First, let's take a look at that British Mandate of Palestine map. You know, the one that has Jordan on the right side, on the west side of the Jordan River. That was the, Arab state. It was actually the Hashemites, a literal colonialist entity. They're from the Arabian Peninsula, but let's not talk about that right now. So you have Jordan on the west bank of the Jordan River. And then on the east side in Israel, you have Israel for the Jews. That's what that was right then and there. That was the map from the 1920s, okay?
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
But over the next 2 decades, that 2-state solution actually turned into a 3-state solution. The Arabs in Jordan got their state. The Israelis got half of the UN partition plan in 1947, and then the Arabs got an additional state out of that one. But if you're somebody that likes military history, how about you take a look at that actual map? You take a look at that blue on top, that's Israel, and then that blue on the bottom, that's also going to be Israel. And 60% of that total blue, that's desert. That's the Negev. In other words, places where you really can't get anything done. And the Israelis decided, you know what? We're still going to take that. And the Arabs rejected it, even though if you look at that part right across the middle, Israelis and Jews, they like to refer to that line as the Auschwitz border. Why? Because anybody who knows anything about military history would tell you that if you accepted those borders, you would be wiped out in an instant. So, what happened? The Israelis, the Jews, accepted it, but the Arabs, who are hell-bent on annihilation, they rejected it because they were so much like Tommy Boy in that restaurant trying to get his wings, like Jojo, the circus boy with a pretty new pet.
Well, then I get all excited. I'm like, Jojo, the idiot circus boy with a pretty new pet.
They got so excited that they simply couldn't accept the fact that Israel would be recognized as a state, even though the dirtiest secret in all of history, in all of Jewish history, is that if the Arab states actually accepted those lines, they could have wiped out Israel in a moment. And remember, that counterfactual and the factual? Well, the counterfactual that I just presented is, well, if they accepted it, the Arabs would go and attack Israel, the Jews, and nobody would come to help them. Why do I know that's the truth? Because in reality, the Arabs rejected it. They went and tried to annihilate the Jews and the Israelis and finish what Hitler started, and nobody did a goddamn thing.
Not a damn thing.
That's how I know that's the truth.
Slow motion for me. Slow motion for me.
Yes, I'll say that one slower. The key for the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem, for the Arabs all around the world, to eradicate Jews everywhere they are and destroy the nascent state of Israel is this biggest irony of all. All they had to do was accept the reality of a Jewish state for 1 month, and then they could have wiped it out. But they couldn't do it because of their hatred of Jews and their hatred of even the concept of a Jewish home state known as Israel.
That's when I blow it.
And I can already hear your retort. If the Arabs all accepted Israel as a state and then attacked Israel, the rest of the world would have teamed up to come and help the Israelis and the Jews. No, they wouldn't. We know that because they didn't fucking do that. Remember, they didn't do a goddamn thing.
Not a damn thing.
They didn't do it in 1948. They didn't do it in 1967. They didn't do it in 1973. And now this is why this video is being made today. They sure as hell didn't on October 7th, 2023. So let's get down to why we're making this video today.
Get your popcorn ready.
And even on October 7th, 2023, when Canadian, British, French, and citizens from more than 20 other countries were murdered and subjected to the worst of horrors, do you know who came to help out? Nobody, except for some cowboys from Montana.
Thank you!
But nobody else showed up in Israel to help. Not a single soldier from a single country anywhere on earth. And now you guys want to say, oh, Israel, we're going to apply pressure on you? We're going to isolate you? Fuck off.
Who are these fucking guys?
Like what you guys stand for means anything to anybody.
Is that what you think? You think you're just gonna crush the rock? It doesn't matter what you think.
All of you guys when it comes to terrorism, your response is to do fucking nothing. And now you think you can apply pressure on Israel as Israel makes the world a better place by erasing all of the worst terrorists the world has ever seen? Good fucking luck. You want the status quo? The status quo has always been Israel is alone. Nobody helps out. Your soldiers don't fight in Israeli wars. So you think now, after all of this, you have the audacity to tell Israel how it should behave in the face of terrorism?
Have the audacity!
Good luck, get fucked. You want Israel to listen to you.
Who are these fucking guys?
Well, Israel says, we're gonna be alone? We're by ourselves? Okay, fucking bet.
Your fate is sitting right beside you. That ace could not have helped you. I bet it all. You're right, Teddy. The ace didn't help me. I flopped the nut straight.
This is the Red, White, and Blue Jew, aka Jake Donnelly, saying, folks, until next time, make sure to subscribe, like, do all the things that you know you're supposed to do on the online things. And I hope you enjoyed this newer version of today's Kvetch. Jewish grit, American truth, no apologies. Until next time, folks. See ya!